guys, and welcome to another video. We're going to be crafting my helmet today. I was lucky enough to get the helmet that I want to drop from the Abyss Gate, so I've got a black and a white jewel on a helmet, which is awesome because it's an extra slot, and the white jewel will help. I know I'm pointing at it on screen like you can see it, but anyways, I got my T35 helmet. We're going to do a fairly high craft on this thing, or enchant and all that stuff. We're going to try to make this thing super optimal for my build. So we're going to be using 3 different authorities, double suffix authorities, and all that stuff. Yeah, let's get into it. Take 3. Here we go. Okay, for real this time. So what I'm going to be doing with this helmet is getting all 3 enhanced skill effects and 2 hit points. What we're going to do is we're going to get the Capri authority suffixes, the enhanced skill rune effect, and critical damage. Critical damage we're going to craft into physical damage amplification. And then our 3rd suffix, we're going to use Vespers to get attack enhanced skill rune duration. It's a fairly good chance we may have to use quite a few Vespers to do this, but luckily we've been on a pretty good roll getting Vespers from the T30 or plus 36 boss, the Alive Abyss boss. Since he's fairly easy to kill, we can get our things from there. So we're going to use get the first 2 from the authority. Okay, so we're going to get Capri. We're going to get these 2. And then we're going to change the authority to Aquila and use a Serpens to remove the 3rd modifier, remove a prefix, and then use a coin to hopefully get this. Again, fairly good chance that we can get this in a reasonable amount of attempts. After that, we're going to change the authority again and get Akuben and get the prefix for enhanced skill rune cooldown recovery speed and preferably double hit points. There is hit rate as well, which we would, if we got hit rate instead of like the other hit point, we'd probably just take it. That's the whole thing. Now, the hard part, obviously, is getting the Serpens. If you're not using the auction house like I am, getting Serpens can be a bit of a pain, but again, getting them from the plus 36 Alive Abyss is how I've been getting a lot of mine. So we're going to try to get that with this many, and if not, I will just wait and we'll come back. So, step 1, getting the suffixes. Let's get into it. Okay, step 1, obviously, we're going to start here with the Capri authority. So that's easy. Get the Capri authority. Bam. And then we're going to roll until we get these suffixes. Now, they're both fairly high chance of getting them. So we could do it by just setting this to 2 and letting it go, and hopefully we'll get both of them. I'm going to just do 1 and then see if we get the extra space. So never mind, we got them both first, like 2 tries in. So there we go. There's our our suffixes. We're gonna change now. We're gonna try to cheat this and get really lucky here. We're going to change the authority, so we're gonna put it legendary. Since we already have an open suffix, we might be able to cheat this. So we're gonna change it to legendary. We're gonna change the authority to Aquila. Bam, and then we're gonna reversion, and we're gonna coin it. And there is a small chance that we'll hit this. Here we go. We didn't hit it. That's to be expected. So now for our Serpens, we have to select the 3rd option, in this case, mana regen. We're going to use this to force that into a prefix. Okay. And then we're going to use a prefix removal essence to remove that, or not necessarily that, but one of the other prefixes. Also, I just realized we got nearly perfect here. Remove a prefix, use a coin to try and get the thing. And we're going to wash, rinse, repeat. And if we run out of Serpens, I'm going to pause the video. We're going to go get more Serpens and we're going to come back. But hopefully we can just get it here. Chance, prefix removal, coin. Boom. Prefix removal, coin. Entry hit point. Removal, coin, nope, mana regen, removal, It's okay. It's okay. Not expecting to hit this early. Oh. Sentry hit point. Nope. Nope. Every nope is a little more sad. Three left. Oh, two left. The other thing, and I should have checked this first, always make sure the thing is in there. When you go to use your coin, you can see the options. I have done this before way back. I used like 25 serpens, and the option wasn't even in the list because it was mutually exclusive. So that's something you really should pay attention to. Hold resist. Last attempt for right now. No. Okay. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to come back when I get more serpens, and we're going to continue. We're back. We've farmed up 16 serpens essence, and a quick word about farming serpens essence. Serpens only drop on seasonal mode, and they drop 100% drop chance from bosses on plus 36 hard maps. I don't know if they drop anywhere else under less difficult circumstances, but there you go. Okay, so what we're right back to the same process. Select our third suffix. Remove it to prefix, remove a prefix, and then use a coin to get the exact thing we needed. After we went and farmed 16 more, we got it on the first try. But that's great. That's what we want, right? Okay, so next we have to get our prefixes. So again, we're going to change the authority. So we're going to legendary. Change the authority to Akuben. And then reversion. Hello, Statler. You're my fluffiest guy. Yes, you are. And now we're going to use the prefix suffix removal stuff. Prefix birth options. Now, typically what I do is I put them down here so that I don't make mistakes and click the wrong thing and accidentally do all my work. But I'm just going to leave them up here. So the most important one, obviously, is the enhanced skill rune cooldown recovery and hit point percent. Now, if I happen to get the third one that I want, we'll go with it. But I'm not going to try super hard, I don't think. No, we probably will. What am I talking about? Okay, so let's start. Dodge armor percent would also be another one that we would take as a third. So if we got that, we would take it. What are the odds here? What are the chances that we get? I think they're the same between all of them. Yeah, they're all 3.2%. So you could keep going if you have lots of resources, if you get one that you want, and keep trying to remove and add. But that's generally pretty silly. Okay, there's our cooldown recovery speed. That's the important one. So now we will try to... And obviously the tier doesn't matter because we're going to Vesper this thing. Again, gear armor dodge, if we happen to get that and the others, it'd be great. Remember what I said a minute ago? I will do the thing. That's awesome. That's awesome that you got to see me make the mistake that I tell people to do. Normally I lock them down so that I don't do that, and then I just reset the whole thing. Okay, so we're going to start from scratch. I'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back. We're back where we were. So, I'm going to show you what I do to not make the mistake that I just made. So first, what I do is I put all the stuff that I want on the bottom bar. In this case, we only want prefix, prefix, and coin. Okay, so I put those down there. And then what I tend to do is put something above the ones that I'm going to click that won't bork everything if you can. So what I tend to do is something like this. Actually, there's probably the best. If I accidentally do a quality birth essence, it's not a big deal. If I do a modification essence, it's not a big deal. And then I lock these in. So these are the only things that I want to use are these. And now we're going to go back to the process of trying to get our prefix. Hit point. So we're going to... I really want the hit point and the authority mod, and again, if I got this as a third, I'd be very happy with that, so. Boop, 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 a-doo. Boop, 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 a-doo. Hit point. So back And even dexterity. If I got dexterity, I wouldn't complain. It's not a bad mod. Okay, so we've got 2 out of 3 that we want. And since we've got tons of resources, we're a little low on gold, but that's not a big deal. Since we got resources, I am going to try to get this one out of there because mana is completely useless to me. Fire damage taken decrease. Let me check something. So we're going to check if that can craft into anything worthwhile, because the fire damage taken decrease on its own is not particularly helpful. Yes, damage taken dampening is good, but when it's only one particular thing, it's not that great. So, like, I mean, it could turn into hit point, which, I mean, is okay, but there's not anything particularly worthwhile. So we're going to go back and do a removal on that, and hopefully do a removal on it. If not, I mean, again, not a big deal. We have tons of resources. If you were earlier in the game, I would just take this because you still have the next step. You got the Vespering and stuff. But because I know that this is not something I want, I'm just going to try to get rid of it. See, again, got rid of the thing. But not a big deal. And I'm not, normally if I was running low on gold, it would be an issue, but because the fireplace event is up, getting a huge amount of gold very quickly is not a big deal. So we're going to just go until we run out of money, and then I'm going to stop the video, go get more money, and come back. But hopefully we just get what we want before we run out. And now obviously there's more steps after this. One of which would be reversioning the legendaries, but because I screwed up, I'm gonna have to farm some more some more reversions, which are generally not too bad. What you do is just get, run through maps, get materials, dismantle, and then buy them at the thing. Okay, so there's the one we care about the most. There we go. Hit rate, 24% hit point and enhanced thing. So the hit rate is not a huge deal, but it is nice to get some flat hit rate. The hit rate is going to get modified by other things, but getting some flat hit rate is definitely not a complaint. Okay, so next we're on to Vespering. Now, since this is an endgame piece, we are going to Vesper 6 mods. If you are starting out, what I would have done is do just these 3, remove the others, and then Vesper just these 3 to get what you want, and then just take whatever you get on the top. But obviously, we want high mods here. Now, when it comes to Vespering on this particular piece, the 3 important ones are all the enhanced skill stuff. So the enhanced skill, all 14s. No it's got to be 14s or maybe a 13, but we generally want all 14s. The critical damage only needs to go to 13. 14 is actually pointless for us to get because we are going to craft this into physical damage amp, and you can't get tier 14. The hit point and hit rate, if they hit decent, great, but they're not critical overall. So we're going to hit Vespers until we see these 3 hit 14, basically. Or, again, if we hit a 13 on one, would be okay as well. In this, when it comes right down to it, this is the most important one as far as well, I guess the cooldown is probably also the most, they're probably tied for most important. Okay, 14, 14, 14, 14, 12, 11. You know, we're taking that. We're taking that. That's 4 out of 6 14s, and the other are 12 and 11. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to take that. Okay. We've got a couple other steps here. So obviously, legendary and reversion is one. So we would want, at this point, to figure out what we would want our legendary and reversion to be. So hit point percent is the best prefix. It almost always is. Element resist is not bad. If we hit it, we wouldn't complain. Here, armor dodge is acceptable, but not something we would want on this particular piece. Now, if we got this on my chest piece, gear armor dodge, we would absolutely take it because we're trying to get as much dodge rate from our chest piece as we can. Suffixes on here, there's 3 good ones. Stat percent is definitely not bad. Damage is obviously good, and resource cost dampening is also good, depending if you're having any kind of mana issues. We're probably, because we're going to have to reversion this, I am going to legendary it because we do want to do other things with it. But we're probably going to have to reversion this. Hit rate, acceptable for now. Obviously not something we would want to stick with. So we have our authority. Now, since we're going to be reversioning, we don't need to do this right now, but we would want to figure out what our authority is going to be. There are some good ones. I believe you can get... No, this is the one that it's... There's basically only a handful that are good. So flat stat, so strength or dex is okay. Stat is okay. Overall, if you were trying to hit 500, 500, 500, stat ever so slightly beats out one of the flat strength or dex, because you get, at max, you get 18 versus only getting 15 here. Gear item quality is, again, not bad because you're going to get armor and dodge, which are fine. And item drop rarity is also, like, not the worst thing in the world. There isn't anything particularly amazing when it comes to helmet authorities, so really you're just going to take whatever. With our craft is what we're going to do next. And our craft has some really good stuff, obviously. So the first one is going to be critical damage. We want physical damage amplification. 11 or 12 is going to be very close, so we're not too worried about that. Our high craft is where we can see if we can hit anything good. Now, all of these enhanced ones have a chance at more of the same thing, which is obviously not bad, as well as hitting something like overpower effect, or sharpness effect, or what's the fast one? Acceleration effect. All of those would be acceptable. We're going to put that in a separate section of the video because I've been talking for a while, so let's get into crafting. Crafting. Now, I've got lots of material for this, and I've got maps to do more. I've been stockpiling. We're going to probably try pretty hard here to get a very good high craft combo because this is an end game piece. A lot of the time what I do, especially starting out, is either not high craft at all or high craft, and then if I get something decent, I take it. So with my previous helmet, because this is the first piece I enchanted, crafted, that I made good with this season. So I had very low resources. I got physical damage. I could have got a tier 13, but I got a 12, and I said that's good enough. This one, we're not going to be doing that. We are definitely going to be high crafting and trying to hit something good. So critical damage, ideally, again, we want to hit a 11 or 12, preferably 12. But let's see what happens here. And then because this has so many good options for high craft, it's likely we'll hit a decent one very quickly. Also, I swear to God, this game knows what you're trying to get. So we've had elemental damage amp 3 times now. But if I was trying to get elemental damage amp, we wouldn't get it at all. It knows, man. It knows. There's 4. There's 5. Okay, 4%. It goes up to 6. I'll try a high craft on. Okay, so again, we're just trying to hit something decent. Barrier completely worthless to us. We're not going to accept that. Okay, back in. Crafting option, critical. Another element damage amp, of course. It knows. No, we're not. There we go, 12. That's good. Okay, high craft. Attack speed. You know what? I'm going to take that. I am ever so slightly low. And I mean super, like, very, very close to attack speed cap. But for now, this is fine. Now, the nice thing about crafting is I can come back and change this anytime. I can save resources now and then put them into stuff later. This is acceptable. It's not anything that's going to be a hindrance. So obviously we're going to take that. So other stuff we need to do here. We need to do quality, obviously, because quality will affect the armor and dodge rate. So we're going to try and get a 10 at minimum because it's the easiest one to get. It's 0.5% chance. We've got 5,000 of these things. We're going to get high quality there. And then because I am fairly low on these, we'll aim for like 15 or higher and just take it. Oh, I'm at a goal. Okay. So I'm going to break away from the video. I'm going to go do some stuff, get some gold and some reversions. We're going to try to get a better reversion. We're going to get the quality up. We're going to get this. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to do the jewels. So here we are a couple of days later, and my helmet is finally finished. Now, I'm not super happy with the reversion, but I went through probably 20 or so reversions, and I finally just gave up. Getting reversions for Legendary isn't the easiest thing in the world. The most effective ways to get them are to run tier 12 Custodias and to get them from the dismantle shop for 7,500. So after a while, I just gave up. We ended up with 23% hit point, 77% hit rate. Not terrible. I would really, really have preferred to get either the stats or the damage on the suffix, but you get what you get. We got really lucky on the Ancient because we got attack enhanced, skill rune, effect amplification. Obviously, there are better prefixes here, but that's a really good suffix, so we're very happy with that. With the jewels, I went with the white jewel. I went with element resist because my element resist was just a bit low. Now, you can see that this is actually not a particularly good element resist rule, but it is a 9, and I really wanted the jewel score here. So I am going to re-roll and do a better element resist in the future, but that's fine. The 809 damage amp on the Black Jewel. Very happy with that as well. Obviously, we got +6 stats on here, and we ended up with 27 quality, which is not bad. Overall, I'm really, really happy with the helmet. And now we can start working on something else. I think boots is my next big project, so that's the next crafting video you'll see. But for now, as always, guys, stay safe. Pet cats eat broccoli. You'll see me next time.